Good afternoon. Earlier today you were talking about world unrest and how that applies. And my question to you is, if the law of attraction holds true, then whatever we think, we in turn create. Then with the way humanity's consciousness is today, will we not create Armageddon and holy jihad and persecution of the Jews, because those sects of our society are so entrenched in that belief that that is what we're creating?
Well, you're accurate. Since you are the creator of your own reality, if you tap into that, then you become a part of that. And the most important distinction that we want to give you about this is that in this mass consciousness that you are saying we or you create your own reality, there is far, 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 far more expectation of well-being than there is not. It's a nice thing about old ones croaking and new ones coming in, because as the new ones come in, they sort of bring the average of well-being up considerably. And then you have all of those beasts that are pure positive energy who outnumber you enormously. And then you have Source that understands and is only well-being. And so the well-being so outnumbers the not well-being. But that does not stop individual creators from pinching themselves off and joining larger groups to justify their pinching off. But there will never be a worldwide conversion to resistance. The well-being is far too big. So the question that we would throw back to you is, do you want to be one who allows, or do you want to be one who resists? And there are plenty who want to resist. And many of these that you offered to us here have been resisting for a very long time. They're born into patterns of resistance. In other words, it's what they do. It's who they are, or so it seems. But each one of them is born into a fresh new little body who has energy from Source predominant. And it takes quite a bit of hammering to condition them into the resistance. That's why once they get there, they're so willing to take you there too. You have to work really hard to become so sure of your plight. In other words, so hard, in fact, that you can't even look into your now reality, which is pretty good. You got to dig up a whole bunch of history in order to justify that ornery place you stand. You've got to build monuments and keep the pain alive. And when you keep the pain alive, then you can bring more into the chain of pain. But you will never win if it is your goal to convince everyone of the misery, because spring comes every year, the sun comes up every morning, an infusion of fresh energy comes forth continually. When you ask, it is given every single time, no exceptions. In other words, no matter how hard you try, you cannot get yourselves down. Nice to know, isn't it?
Very.
We would love it if your newscasts would be consistent with the vibration of the planet. If they were giving you proportionate news, the bad news, as it was aired in your 1-hour evening broadcast, would go psst. And you say, what was that? Oh, well, that was the bad news. And the rest of it would be all about all of the glorious things, the expansion, the sun coming up, the continuation of the water, the continuation of the food, the planet spinning in its orbit, all of the joyous people, all of the joyous children, all of the children excited and eager about life. In other words, the well-being is so huge in comparison with this piddly, little, non-existent, hardly worth mentioning negative stuff that is such a fraction of who you are and what you are living. But oh no, the news wants to activate within you trouble. Because if they did not activate trouble, why would you turn them on? In other words, they want to activate within you your desire to fix something, because as humans, you are born to conclude. In other words, you are solution seekers. You really are. And anyone who's selling anything has discovered that in order to motivate you, they've got to activate trouble within you, and then point in the direction of some solution, and you will flock to them, you see. But even in all of that, well-being is huge in comparison. So you're right, there are rivers or streams. There are sort of patterns, and everyone falls into them a little bit. In other words, we look, even in your environment today, at the trauma that people feel over the idea of not having health care. because the beliefs that they've picked up along their trail says that they're going to die a horrible, declining, sliding into the miserable abyss of suffering death. And they want to have enough insurance to pay for it. And it's a pretty hefty stream. And so it's an easy one to slip into because almost everyone is in it. And if you talk otherwise, they'll reach to try to pull you in it. Jerry and Esther had a friend that they knew in Tucson many years ago. And he talked about moving to the outskirts of the city in order to thrive. And he was thriving because his family, he said, we are like the crabs in the bucket. If anyone in our family looks like they're going to thrive, the rest of them just reach up and pull them back into the bucket. Back into the bucket. Back into the bucket. And we say, nobody can pull you into the bucket unless you are giving your attention to them and activating them in your vibration. What it really is about is observing more than you are choosing your thought. Observing the content that someone else has provided and then following suit with that. And if you were really fair observers, you would hardly offer resistance at all. Walk out into the parking lot today as you leave and count your blessings. In other words, hardly ever do we see on your list of things, the sun came up today, and yet it is so big. It is so big. Think about how you'd feel if you saw the headlines, the sun didn't come up today. The sun didn't come up today, save your food. The sun didn't come up today. Now that would be big. You're not going to see that, you say. And yet look how big that is. It puts everything else in a sort of different perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we would say to you, until the headlines say, the sun didn't come up, you got no reason to worry about nothing.
Thank you. I have one other question. And I know that you've talked about this a lot in your tapes, and I haven't listened to all your tapes, but what form of consciousness does our soul take after this life experience? I mean, do we think and feel similar to the way we think and feel now, or is it more like...
Let's lay a little basis here. First of all, you are source in a physical body. And so we don't think that you really fully know who you really are until you get on a jag of feeling good for a few months. In other words, once you really show yourself that you can choose thoughts that allow the fullness of who you really are to flow, then a question like that is easier for us to answer, because then we say, you're going to feel just like you feel now. Invincible, excited, adventurous, eager, stable, secure. In other words, the personality of your inner being is one of confidence and yet humility, in the sense that you know that you will continually expand. And so when you are physically focused and you've practiced thoughts that have sort of pinched that off, then from that pinched off sometimes point of view, you try to imagine what it would be like to be spirit or to be that non-physical energy. And sometimes as you listen to those like us describe the non-physical, it worries you because you can feel that it is less focused, because after all, you are out here on the leading edge. And you worry that since in the non-physical you have no eyes so you don't see, and you have no ears so you don't hear, and so on, that it will be sort of a dark, quiet, uncomfortable place. And we say it isn't that at all. In fact, it is more delicious because your capacity to translate vibration is thousands of times more. It would be like feeling sorry for your dog because he cannot hear exactly as you do. And your dog would say, get real, I can hear a whole lot better than you can. Or feeling sorry for your dog because he doesn't smell exactly as you do. And your dog would say, get real, I can smell a whole lot better than you can. And so your inner being is that way. Your inner being can sense and evaluate and conclude and know so much more articulately, so to speak, than you do in your physical format. When you make your transition into the non-physical, you will clearly and wholly know who you are. There will be no sense, not a moment's sense of not knowing who you are. You will have full consciousness. The only difference is you'll feel utterly good about who you are. There will be no guilt, no blame. There will be no lack of feeling of worthiness. The best of you is who you are there. Jerry helps us answer this question more fully by reminding us of an incident he had when he was very early in his understanding of all of this. He was in the back of a pickup truck with a friend, with this friend's children. They were riding a mountain pass, and the friend said, "The brakes on this truck are not working very well, but don't worry about it because I can brake using the gears." And Jerry said, "Have you been doing this long?" And he said, "Yes, for quite a long time. It works very well." And Jerry believed him since his old children were in the back of the pickup truck. So Jerry climbed in too, and he is tutoring the children in Spanish in a little book with a flashlight as they are in the dark driving this mountain pass. And Jerry hears him trying to shift down, and he realizes that the momentum is such he's let them go too fast, and he cannot get the truck into the lower gear, and they are not slowing down, they are going faster. And Jerry said to the children, "This is it." And sure enough, the driver turned the truck up into the hillside to try to stop it, which was wise. The crevasse on the other side, not such a good choice. And the truck turned over. And Jerry recalls his knees hitting the pavement. There was a canvas top that protected him. And he recalls thinking, well, now that wasn't so bad. And then the truck fell on them. And he lost consciousness briefly. And when he regained consciousness, he reported, and has done so ever since, "I am no longer afraid of death, because in one moment I am fully conscious, and in the next moment, it's all over. Nothing to be afraid of." And we said, that's nothing like what death is. Because in death, there is no loss of consciousness. In fact, we said, humans are the only species anywhere in the universe that we've ever found that can find a way to be unconscious. Because when you die, you reemerge instantly into your full consciousness. You become supernova consciousness. You become more consciousness. You do not become less consciousness. Esther can help you to understand this by saying to you what it's like to have Abraham flowing through her. People say, "Oh, Esther, it's so nice of you to sacrifice your life, so many hours of your life by allowing Abraham to flow through you, while you go off in the corner and just be dead." And Esther says, it is nothing like that. When Abraham flows through me, I am present, I hear it, I know it, I am it. It is more of an experience for me. It is not less of an experience for me. And that's what it's like to die, friend. It is super consciousness, super awareness, love beyond description, well-being. Now don't go jump off of buildings, because there's great value in being here. In fact, that gate swings both ways. In other words, you do not have to reemerge into non-physical to have that. You can find vibrational harmony with that now and live it now. In the specifics of what you are focused upon, how good is that? Yes.
Ultimate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And that has been on tapes here and there, but never like that. Yes. Yes. Here? How are you? Extremely well. Full of yourselves. That's what inspired is, isn't it? I'm a vibrational match to the spirit within. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is lovely to come together with those like you, who are coming more clearly in every day to understand who you are. Life is supposed to be fun, you know. Be easy about it. Mine your powerful now for good feelings. Let your talk of the future be because it feels good now. Let your talk of the past be because it feels good now. Look for thoughts that feel good and practice it in your virtual reality until feeling good is the most natural, next logical step for you. And then watch how much allowing of all that you've been asking for happens quickly. Don't worry. The universe will keep giving you more opportunities to choose new things because you never get it done. There is great love here for you. We are complete.